We've got a lot of important news to cover. I'm Brian Manning. I'm an asylum lawyer and an ex-government asylum officer, and I'm here to keep you informed on developments of interest to the immigrant community. So let me tell you what's going on in just the past couple days. First up, Trump plans major military deployment to block access at the border. Now, the Trump administration says it's sending around 10,000 troops, military troops, to the southern border to stop asylum seekers from entering. Now, officials say that Border Patrol can now turn away people if they suspect potential health concerns, even without actually pinpointing any actual disease or problem. Now, the claim is that migrants may have picked something up on their way to the U.S. in the countries they traveled through. And this breaks from decades of policy that usually let people request asylum once they step onto American soil. Now, immigration groups warn that it could essentially shut down the asylum process, at least for people coming to the border, leaving people fleeing persecution with nowhere to turn. Now, critics also worry that this large military deployment is more about politics than public health, and it might severely limit the rights of those who have no other safety net in place. And for many, this step erases a fundamental protection guaranteed by law for a very long time. So scary news there, right? But it only gets worse, or just as bad, let's say. All right, so we've got the Trump administration moves to rapidly deport immigrants from Biden-era programs. Now, this is huge. This is a big deal. The Department of Homeland Security has a new rule that lets ICE, the people that do the deportations, quickly deport immigrants who came through Biden's CBP-1 application appointments, or the humanitarian parole program for Cuba, Nicaragua, Venezuela, and Haiti that's known as the CHNV program. Now, over 1.4 million people got temporary legal status here under these two programs, and it was usually valid for 2 years. It's called parole. But the Trump team says it won't honor that parole, treating people as undocumented and pushing them possibly into fast-track deportations that skip immigration court altogether. Now, officials say they'll prioritize people who've been here for over a year but have not filed for asylum, suggesting that having an asylum application might be a proactive measure, a way to protect yourself from this deportation operation. Okay, I'm going to say more about that in a minute. So meanwhile, the ACLU is suing, saying that this new approach violates due process. Now, immigration advocates worry that it's putting vulnerable people at risk since they relied on these programs, right, that were legal at the time that they benefited from them. Now, many people are wondering if this is the first step in unraveling a bunch more of these Biden-era immigration policies. By the way, if you've been waiting for years for an asylum interview with USCIS, let me know about it in the comments. Let me know how long you've been waiting. We may have a way for you to get your stalled asylum case unstuck. All right? Okay, back to our asylum and immigration news update. This has been all over the news. A federal judge blocks Trump's executive order on birthright citizenship. So a judge just recently temporarily stopped Trump's order that tries to end automatic citizenship for kids born in the U.S. to non-citizen parents. Lawsuits came fast on this from states led by Democrats, with experts saying that the 14th Amendment clearly grants citizenship to just about anyone born here, regardless of their parents' status. So for now, at least, the government must keep issuing passports and otherwise treating these US-born children as citizens. Now, it's the latest in a string of restrictive moves from Trump, including sending troops to the border, speeding up deportations, and many see this birthright citizenship challenge as a direct assault on long-held legal norms. And critics are saying that it's a political play to energize anti-immigrant sentiment, while its supporters say that it targets chain migration. Now, this court battle that's underway could take a while, but implementation of that executive order is on hold until further notice. All right. Our friends from India should pay attention to this one. This is an interesting development. India agrees to accept the return of 18,000 citizens from the United States. So India has changed course and agreed to take back roughly 18,000 of its citizens living in the U.S. without permission. So before now, India often would not confirm that someone was in fact an Indian citizen, so deportation attempts to India stalled. They couldn't do it. Now, this new deal looks like it's part of India's push to stay on good terms with the White House and protect valuable programs like the H-1B visa that a lot of its citizens benefit from. Now, with Trump's team promising to boost deportation numbers, officials see this as a big win. Immigration experts say the agreement could pave the way for similar deals with other countries, potentially speeding up deportations across the board. Now, some believe India is making this move because it doesn't want to jeopardize trade trade and tech ties with the United States. And critics worry that it's going to leave people in limbo, facing quick removal. Now, as more undocumented Indian nationals are identified, we might, see those deportation figures climb rapidly. Okay. All right. Couple more news items for you guys. The Department of Justice has halted immigration support by federally funded legal services. So the Justice Department, which controls the immigration courts, has ordered legal aid groups that get federal funding to stop helping immigrants in deportation proceedings. Now, this sudden change could leave many people, especially asylum seekers, without the guidance that they need. These organizations typically offer orientation on court procedures, explain legal rights, and sometimes provide free lawyers. Now, studies show that having an attorney can dramatically boost asylum approval rates. Immigration advocates say forcing people to go it alone undermines due process because the court system is too complicated for non-lawyers. Meanwhile, supporters of the policy claim that it's, saving taxpayer money and that it deters frivolous cases. But critics argue it's another step by the Trump administration to strip away protections from low-income immigrants, the ones that have fewer resources, many of whom may miss crucial filing deadlines or fail to present strong evidence and lose valid claims, leaving them at greater risk of deportation. All right. Now, listen, all of these news updates show an immigration climate growing increasingly tough for those seeking safety and stability. So listen, it's more crucial than ever to stand up for immigrant rights, and you got to present the strongest asylum case that you possibly can. Under this second Trump term, this process is going to be even harder, I think. So don't wait to get help. If you want to talk about your case, if you think you might want help securing your future in America through asylum, then go right now to winasylum.com. It's WINASYLUM.com. Again, that's winasylum.com. And that is where you can schedule an asylum strategy session with one of our asylum professionals. We want to talk with you. We want to see what's going on. We want to talk to you about your case and really tell you whether we think that we are in a position to help you. Okay. And if we think that we might be able to help you, we're going to tell you how. We're going to explain in detail what the concrete next steps would be to give you the strongest possible chance of securing your future in America through asylum. So again, I'm Brian Manning. It's really a pleasure to support you in your asylum journey.